In March 2006, a wheelchair-bound figure embarked on a journey to an unassuming island, traveling by boat alongside other renowned quantum physicists. The yacht is docked promptly at 9 a.m., and the tour begins. A butler hurriedly rushes to attend to the guests and provided some refreshments. Due to the challenges posed by his wheelchair and medical equipment, transport by private plane or helicopter was not feasible. After what felt like a lengthy voyage from St. Thomas Island, they arrived at Little St. James. The man in the wheelchair was none other than Stephen Hawking. His visit was for a science conference hosted by Jeffrey Epstein. The first stop was the island's most enigmatic landmark, the blue and white striped temple. The guide described its contradictions, a music pavilion in the plans, yet inside, it revealed plush rugs, dark furniture, shelves of books, and even a Wurlitzer piano. The visitor stepped into the shadowy chamber, running a hand along the cool stone walls, noting the strange outward-facing lock on the door. From the temple, they strolled towards an enormous stone sundial. The visitors paused here, gazing at the symmetry, wondering whether it was astronomy, aesthetics, or something more cryptic. The main villa's pool sparkled in the late morning sun, completing the look of a luxury resort pool. The guide led the visitors down an inconspicuous staircase tucked behind a cabana. It was in the basement that a shadowy lower level stretched out. There were storage rooms, service quarters, and corridors linking back to the main villa. To the guests, it felt like stepping behind the stage of an opulent theater. Various young and attractive women swam in the upper pools, giving the island a more innocent aura. It is now 12 p.m., and a private chef awaits in the tiki hut, serving fresh seafood, tropical fruit, and chilled wine. The scientists lounged beneath the thatched roof and savored the contrast of carefree dining against the island's mysterious atmosphere. It was at this location that the assembled physicists exchanged the latest insights into string theory and cosmology, briefly giving the island an air of intellectual intimacy. In the years following this event, many of the Nobel laureates present would go on to author successful scientific works on theoretical physics. Some have won the Pulitzer Prize, and others have achieved New York Times bestseller status. Yet, it was Jeffrey who brought these men together in the same room on his island. This gathering shows the sheer caliber of powerful and influential figures within Jeffrey Epstein's inner circle. By mid-afternoon, they were led to more conventional facilities, guest cottages with airy verandas, a caretaker's cottage nestled discreetly inland, and the helipad where private helicopters once landed. These spaces spoke of exclusivity rather than mystery. As the tour wound down, the visitors were introduced to the island's self-contained infrastructure, a desalination plant, small gas station, and hidden generator sheds. Though less glamorous, these revealed how the island operated independently without the mainland. Some events on the island are known, but the names of the actual employees are never disclosed. To tell this story, we created the character Maxime. Maxime had previously held a senior role in an intelligence agency, but today he works as a security crew on Little St. James, one of 70 people employed by Jeffrey Epstein, and had to sign a non-disclosure agreement to become one of his trusted workers on the island. He sits in a central room that holds a live feed of every common area and monitors guest movements. Motion detectors would allow him to follow guest movements on camera, with high-tech video feeds switching automatically to the area of movement sensed. Tonight, they're expecting an important public figure. Maxime is used to seeing well-known public figures, but this one is different. This time, it is rumored that the visiting guest is a member of the British royal family. According to eyewitness reports, guests of the island would often arrive at night, with day visits rare and few in between, with Stephen Hawking's visit being a notable exception. Maxim adjusted the strap of his camera as the humid evening air pressed against his uniform. The island was quiet, too quiet. Palms shifted lazily in the breeze, their fronds scraping like whispers. He knew the night would be busy since the owner had flown in another boatload of glittering guests earlier that day. Countless times from the comfort of the security room, Maxim watched as yachts ferried people to shore. Politicians, actors, financiers, faces plastered across magazines, walked the beach as though they had stepped into another world, one far from consequence. To them, the island was a sanctuary. To Maxim, it was a cage with gilded bars. He had been given a task: one he never asked for, but could not refuse. "Make sure we have insurance," Jeffrey Epstein told him, his tone calm but sharp. Insurance, Maxim understood, meant photographs, the kind that could break reputations, bind powerful men to silent loyalty. Moving through shadowed pathways, Maxim carried himself like a ghost. His training as an intelligence officer had prepared him for surveillance, not morality. At the villa's pool, he concealed a lens within a vent. By the beachside tiki hut, he slipped a microphone beneath the wicker chairs. In the guest villas, he checked hidden cameras disguised as smoke detectors. By 6, the guests had grown comfortable. Champagne flowed, laughter spilled into the salt air, and inhibitions dissolved like sugar in rum. Maxim's earpiece crackled with staff chatter, but he focused only on the angles, the way the lens framed whispered conversations, careless embraces, the subtle exchanges no one would ever confess to in daylight. As night fell, Maxim climbed the cliffside to the strange blue and white building locals called the Temple. From there, his scope captured the infinity pool below, where 2 public figures lounged, their guards down. He pressed the shutter. A soft click, nothing more, but heavy as a chain. Inside, his chest tightened. Each image was another nail in a coffin, although not his. Maxim took the pictures. He sorted them, labeled them, encrypted them, just as he had been ordered. From 8 until 10, Maxim drifted silently among the private beaches and hidden terraces. Firelight from torches danced across the sand. Guests gathered in intimate groups, their conversations low, their laughter careless. Maxim moved like a shadow, capturing each fleeting moment, recording each subtle exchange. The island seemed alive with secrets, every corner a stage. From 10 until midnight, the night became heavier. Music flowed from the main villa, mingling with the waves. Maxim returned to the security room. Banks of monitors reflected in his weary eyes. The images were already uploaded to a secure drive that was not his to touch. For a moment, he stared at his own reflection in the black glass between screens. Not the lens, not the subjects, just himself, a man watching other people's secrets, but never able to control his own. A middle-aged man with gray hair walked around the island at night. He is walking towards the mysterious Blue Temple. It's just before midnight, and he has no idea that he is being followed. It's an island security staff on his trail, and something about this man just isn't right, because he is off limits to this part of the island without the presence of the staff. And so the security staff follows him into the Blue Temple, pretending to be another guest so as to not raise any suspicion. Unbeknownst to them, while the security staff is investigating the man was an undercover private investigator, posed as a visitor, and have already started his own investigation of the island. In the weeks leading up to the raid on Little St. James, there was more at play than what the public was told. One of Jeffrey Epstein's own blackmailed associates, a powerful politician, was instrumental in pressing federal authorities to move against the island. The move was not driven solely by justice, but by desperation. Epstein had long maintained a sophisticated system of surveillance on the island. An IT contractor later revealed that a central room housed multiple screens, monitoring both common areas and private guest quarters. This footage, often of visiting politicians and public figures in compromising positions, was used as leverage. Epstein's power rested not only in wealth, but in the 300 gigabytes worth of incriminating evidence of powerful politicians. When one particular politician realized the depth of Epstein's archive, he sought to turn the system against its creator. Behind closed doors, pressure was applied to prosecutors and agencies, and what followed was an unusually swift decision, a full-scale raid. Yet, the record shows that Epstein was prepared. Staff on the island reported unusual activity 2 days prior to the FBI's arrival. Shipments were quietly moved to a nearby airstrip. Pallets were loaded onto a private jet. According to multiple accounts, this was not debris or furniture, but sensitive materials, hard drives, photographs, and recordings, the very archive that gave Epstein power. When the FBI entered the island, they encountered what at first seemed extraordinary: the heavily reinforced temple with walls stronger than any music room would require, a hidden boat garage, libraries filled with books on eugenics, social control, and sexology. They noted murals and paintings of powerful people, as well as the owl and occult symbolism scattered across the grounds. But the rooms were immaculately clean. The infamous steel safe, when opened, was empty. The timing was striking. Evidence suggests Epstein had prior knowledge of the raid. Someone from inside the FBI informed Epstein about the raid before it happened. Authorities from the Virgin Islands had complained for years that they were denied access to the island, a denial often shielded by political influence and donations. Only after Epstein's death did most of the barriers fall away. But by then, the most important material, the main archive of blackmail evidence, had already been removed, not destroyed, but relocated, and its whereabouts remain unknown. The FBI's raid revealed the island's disturbing architecture, its hidden infrastructure, and libraries of books suggesting the peculiar obsessions of Epstein on controversial topics such as eugenics and social control. What began as an effort by a blackmailed politician to eliminate Epstein ended up exposing the limits of legal power. In the end, the raid did not dismantle Epstein's leverage. It only confirmed how well protected it was. To this date, no indoor photographs of the Blue Temple and island facilities exist. The seized contents and photographs were never revealed to the public.